Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another day of action here at the ESL Pro League. It's time to begin our first match, or at least in a few moments it is. Anyway, SK is going to be taking on the Misfits. Misfits obviously were able to have some good progress over the weekend, being able to push all the way through and win the CyberPower PC tournament. They did manage to flub out on Sunday in the IM Oakland qualifiers, but at least they have something going for themselves. Right now they have to face off against SK, so it's going to be a pretty tough challenge.
Yeah, pretty tough challenge. Good map. We've seen a lot of Cash recently. It's been like... We've seen SK play Cash yesterday versus NRG. That was pretty interesting. There was a lot of stuff that was weird about it. There was like a lot of those A hits that were kind of strange. I really what stuck with me was their T pistol, where they were able to pull up a cool highway split. And actually, NRG and SK's pistols, both T pistols were really cool. Now, obviously, it's Misfits in this game. And what is the hallmark of Misfits, or what's most notable about Misfits on Cash, is how for some reason Sean, off of very little information, is always able to call very confident gamble stacks on sites. And I think that's going to be a key to victory for Misfits if we look at what they're going to need to do to be able to win. Apart from that, Sick is extremely hard to neutralize. He always plays A site, and he's typically at quad. And even though you know he's quad, and even when you molly him out, that's not always enough. He does a great job of moving around that box and getting back there, even when there's like a lot of focus on grenading him out. And I think he's a big problem because he's locking down one half of the map. So if you can really just rely on him at A, and then your rotator knows that he can spend a lot more time at mid, or a lot of time, or just far back at truck waiting to help out B, then that puts a lot of pressure on both sides of the map, because you got Sick at A, and then you've got like a really heavy stacked other side of the map. So I'm curious to see what SK's approach is to picking that apart, and if they'll be able to kind of outplay on a very macro level Misfits, in that will they be able to get them to stack the wrong sites, or will they make them so scared that they aren't willing to stack sites?
All right, guys, well, I think the match is ready here, as we can see the live on 3 going in. So let's hop into the game and take a look at things. Misfits, they'll be starting off on the CT side, and SK will be jumping onto offense to begin things here now on Cash as the first map. We dive into it again. Both teams having some fun results here yesterday. Fallen, specifically from an individual perspective, doing fantastic with the op on this map from the CT side yesterday. We'll see if he can keep things going, as they're going to start from T side, but Sick also had quite a good game. Not only this map, but I think Train was in the one they played the other day here too. So they're going to move in. Devo Duvac ults for the first kill. He's going to look for more, but Fer does trade him out. Sean, however, starts it off with a double. But his teammate over here in quad box is not going to last very long. Or checkers box, excuse me. He's going to get taken out by Taco here. Shazam was also lost to Coldzera, so it's down to Sean, who's still up after that 2K, and Sick. But SK are going to be a little bit smarter than this here, or at least we think they are, as Sean is able to peek out, killing the player up on top there, trying to counter boost his teammate. So now it's just Coldzera left alive, and he's not going to last very long either. Misfits shut it down, and it's mainly due to Sean's heroics that are up on the platform. Yeah,
Sean made a very heads-up peek there and made sure that they couldn't counter boost Fence when they kind of knew exactly. I think he just called them out completely and went for that peek. So overall, pretty good hold with those first 2 kills, and it was a great job holding off his teammate falling back from that peek. And there, yeah, that clean headshot on Taco. Did Cold actually manage to get in the vent, or did he just fall?
I think he did, but then when his teammate died, he went back down. Because I think they were because they still had the bomb down in sight there somewhere, so I'm pretty sure they were gonna have him try to flank or something like that. But obviously, once they saw the boosting, it was pretty pointless.
So really common tactics, just hit B on a pistol round. You can get really up close by the wall, throw 1 pop flash, and you can use this strategy on a lot of rounds. It just depends on whether or not the B players have smokes, and whether or not you think they're gonna like pre-nade or pre-molly instead of smoke. But on the pistol, where there's not much utility, it's like very, very viable.
Well, Shazam already scouting out here the first couple of players, or at least thinking he does. Ooh, timing there almost pays off for Phelps if he had peeked out at that moment, but thankfully for Shazam, that doesn't happen, so he's going to stay safe up on top. He'll get additional support now from Devo Duvac, so 2 players stacked behind White Box, and Shazam already catching the second. Now Devo moves out. They know there's that 2-man stack here, so it's going to be actually a little bit surprised to see that re-peek there from Fallen. Thought it was going to be very unlucky. They try to go out knowing there's 2 players there, but they attempt it regardless. Not just once, but Coldzera is going to make a bout for it here too. Looking for the quick headshot. Hasn't been able to find it. He gets dinked through the box, so he'll end up down low at 29 HP. And for Fallen, he has to be very cautious. Both of them knew, really, as they are being flanked out here by Sick. And it's just a matter of about 20 to 30 seconds before they're found out. Finally, however, Shazam will get taken down by Fallen. to go hunting for more, and actually, coldzera realizes that this flank is coming, but it's still too late. Devo takes out Fallen, and Sick will dispatch of Cold to give Misfits that second straight round.
Yep, very decent cleanup. Everyone set up in a default to look for the kills. Misfits take them all down. Only lose one gun. Pick up a FAMAS in return. I think trade hands with that UMP. Move into third round and have a lot of utility. Some money left over on a few people. SK, on the other hand, are on the full eco. One flash once again. Looks like we might see a pistol round as the bomb is headed towards B. Everyone's starting to walk now, and the counter smoke comes up. Sometimes you want to wait for this to group in front of so you can pop flash through. And it seems like, yep, this is what Fallen is about to do. Oh, good nade.
Nice nade right off the corner there. Bounces in, chunks easily. 100+ damage there off those 3 players that it does connect onto. So now it's just a matter of shutting them down on the execute. We've got Almanac, bit of a messy spray there. He'll get at least one, however, but over onto the pistols where coldzera is going to be able to take him down. Now Sean, just looking to kind of clean up shop here, and actually Devo moves in for the Mets. I missed that. He's going to be able to roll in here, and Sean will finish things off with that last kill, giving Misfits the nice clean start. 3-0, and I think in the anti-ecos, they only lose 2 players. Yeah,
very simple stuff. Just hit B once again. And just as I mentioned, very viable strategy to use almost in any single round, and especially if they throw the smoke down for you, gives you a way to stay grouped, actually closer to the choke point than maybe you would be able to be if it was wide open. But we had a B in checker, obviously with checker control, Almanac throwing a really nicely timed flash from the checker room, blinding 4 people, allowing 1 to come through and having some pretty easy fights. Felt the spray a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We're on to the next round. And everybody has bought up, so they're not going to be thinking about that too much. Group for A main. Oh, they're actually going to go walk out. Uh-oh.
Sick will be able to move out there. He actually takes down Phelps first off, so right off the bat, that's SK losing a very important player here. One did sneak out, however. You'll note Fur sitting in that side area there, and I'm not sure if Sick is aware of that or not. So Fur, in theory, would be able to get a free peek out here at the moment, if I'm correct in assuming that Sick didn't realize he got out here. So this is the one thing that, in my eyes anyway, could potentially change up this round, as SK not only lost Fallen, but they lost Phelps earlier too. They also have 0 utility now, so any attempts to get kills is basically just going to have to be a dry peek from them. Really running down this timer. The good news is that they executed very early, so they still have plenty of that time. And Misfits not playing around with A at all. They still know they're here. They haven't heard anything at B. There's been no reason to rotate off or try to check in A main. So they're playing very patiently right now. This is working for them. Fur finally reveals himself over here by Forklift, and Devo, as such, will be able to start knocking out the other guys from SK. Cold finally trades onto 1, but he's dead after that. It's the same for Fur, as Sick takes him out. And another clean round from Misfits as we get into these gun rounds now. Solid
hold. Not enough information gained from SK to be able to sell some kind of fake. Misfits were able to whittle down their numbers, and Sick not getting caught off guard by our player Forklift. I think actually Phelps had an opportunity to kill him, but failed on that, and that really slows everything down because he's holding down the most important part of the site. Everyone else probably would have exploded off of that, but I think it was also interesting to see that the spacing wasn't so good following that whiff, and no one was there to make sure that Sick ended up dying, even though he was out there peeking wide. Round 5, everybody's setting up for what looks like an A take. Lots of utility on this half buy, considering we are moving into next round with a full loss bonus. Now coldzera setting up for a smoke. I'm curious where this lands. If it's just going to land in front of quad or.
Out it goes. And that's going to pop onto. Oh, they. Backside here as well, so that's going to let them wrap on his side a little bit more easily. It's not entirely perfect though. You can kind of see Sick peering beyond that, but he gets destroyed by this flashbang. So it's actually a very good amount of smoke setups here. It's going to let them into the site. Mollies will hold them off for planning for a couple extra seconds, but obviously it's not too long, and Misfits, due to how hesitantly they've been playing these couple of rounds here, are not going to immediately move back in to start dispatching of these SK players. So they make it happen. They get onto the site. Nice little trade there. And now they'll look to start retaking here as the CTs use their own utility to get back into the site. They don't have much of it, but the one smoke is already going to be used pretty effectively. Blocks off the player who's hiding out in Squeaky. They're going to move in. The first kill's for free. coldzera does respond, however, and they don't necessarily leave themselves with a whole lot of time to do this. We can see Devo going back, kills the quad player. Almanac taking out 1 more. 2 to go. Now 1, and it's just that guy that was smoked out in quad anyway. Didn't even realize there was one at Forklift, so he's dead meat now. It's Almanac. That will be Misfits, again, winning it with minimal losses here, so their money's going to continue to blossom very quickly.
Yeah, minimal losses. 4 players hemorrhaging, though. There was so many people that were so close to dying. The execute was good, though, and Misfits had to respect it. I like that they pulled Sick out of the site as the smoke came in, just decided, all right, these are great flashes. The smokes are out. They've clearly invested some in this round. We don't want to lose our A player, forfeit a gun, and map control, and then not be able to have the chance in the retake. Instead, they trusted themselves to do that, like any good team should. You can always expect that from Misfits, so fair play to them. And now we move into round 6, another buy-up. As we mentioned, they only half-bought last round, and it's got that big-time money bonus, so... Oh, didn't expect Fur to creep in past that Molotov.
So the first time in a while here, we do have SK starting off with an advantage to play on. Now, Misfits will look for a response, but they're not going to get it. Taco actually takes out an additional player. This time it's Devo dying over towards the A site. So he makes it happen from those squeaky halls there, getting an additional kill already. Misfits, the passive strat, well, it has worked for them before. Now they try to get a little bit more aggressive. They lose 1 player, and a second is lost due to them not really paying attention to Squeaky all that much there. 2 players down right within the first minute of the round here, and now they have to look to kind of read into SK, properly figure out what exactly they're going to attempt to execute on. Because even SK don't know yet. They're still keeping their players spread out across the map in a default. So the options are still open to this T side right now.
Playing it very safely, making sure that nobody pushes. Lots of opportunities for CTs to get aggressive. And Misfits aren't going to give them that. They're going to rely heavily on what looks like a mid-trap. And they're hoping for the A-split, actually. So they're right about this at the very least. 1 man in Squeaky. Definitely going to escort players. Sean in a very favorable position.
Sean and Cold will trade blows at mid. That's not advantageous to Misfits, however, and that certainly isn't either. Amanek going out, doesn't even get a single kill. That's going to leave Shazam alone, but hey, at the least they're coming to the site he's hiding out at, so he's going to get that first kill. I don't think he knows the second player on Highway, though, so he'll swing out. We'll leave him dead on the ground with Fur getting the last kill and finally putting SK onto the board here.
Good patience in the 5v3. Great adjustment by Misfits. Kind of worried or wondering whether or not they'd be able to respond when they were down in numbers, and we can see here they do have an answer for them. I think that the thing is, Amanek jumping through the smoke, he probably would have been better off going to truck and holding for the cross, but at the same time, when you're down numbers, making a play like that can make sense. It all depends on circumstances, and he wouldn't have jumped out if he didn't think that he was completely flanking them. If he thought that he was going to jump out and the players watching him, he would have second-guessed himself for sure. So you always make the best play possible. Shazam walking left into the op shot of Fallen. Not the kind of duel you typically see over at B.
Yeah, now SK seem to have gotten themselves into gear finally, so it's going to be Misfits having to strike back from the back foot themselves. They don't have anyone else in that B side either. That's the worst part about it. So Shazam already getting knocked out here is certainly not going to help Misfits at all in the long run here. Now they have to rotate Amanek away from mid. That's pretty much besides a white box hold going to leave mid open for the taking here if SK want to try to execute into it again. Amanek's read here to move in towards B might actually prove to work out a little bit, though, for the Misfits. There's a little bit more Hull's presence than we're used to seeing from SK, but it looks like they're giving up on that now. Cold Zera and Fallen both backing away from it. So it might be grouping up to try and go for an A play again. But we'll see, obviously. Like I said, they're still holding the majority of these players in middle, so the bomb could go either way at this point.
Once again, really juicing this 5v4, which is important to do as a terrorist, not to make sure that anybody dies after you get that kill. Because a lot of people can be looking for that individual play, but once it's made, everyone's got to retreat safely. Now they move into map control, or mid control, I should say. Number 7 man Fur jumping out into his favorite spot on CT side and walking up to the white box. Will be assisted with a flash, but catches him a bit as well.
Yeah, I think the timing was off on it, but oh, that was a great flash coming out from Fur. The timing on it works out brilliantly. So that's going to let him go cross for free, getting into Z now. And as he moves out, well, I think he knows there was that player crossing a truck, so he's going to sit back and wait for him, but he still strikes first. Sean getting the kill here. Sick will get smoked out of the site, but they do have Amanek, and as you'll remember, they've got that double op set up to play off of now. Sick only survives for 1 kill, and the same can be said for Amanek. Fallen just strikes out Sean, too, when he tries to go towards heaven. It'll be close to timing on the plant there, but Devo really is not left with any option now in a 1v3 since they lost so many teammates from within that site. SK, they make the entry work out in a very clean fashion, and that'll seal the deal for this round, giving SK their second.
Misfits still keeping it competitive. Interesting to see that even in that 5v4 situation where they sacrificed mid control, it looked to me as though maybe SK were going to think about going mid or mid to A, and instead they went B, and Misfits actually had pulled Sean from A to the back of Z, was Sick on the left side, and he was aware enough to kill Fur there and call out that it was going to be a B hit. So you can see that cerebrally they're still on par with SK. It's just that SK are doing a great job in the past couple of rounds, getting opening kills and then playing it safely into their regular splits. focusing on shutting down any site holds that could be possible. Will Misfits buy is the only remaining question. This is the opening kill as Shazam. Actually, maybe just missed an opportunity as well. I think spotted him as he was planning to fall back, potentially shot while he was still moving. It's hard to say because when you press the opposite direction that you're going,
yeah,
you technically stop instantly, like you're fully accurate, but the model is still moving.
And the GoTV can sometimes throw things off with that a little bit too.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Shazam, he's going to get the first kill this time. However, he takes down Phelps. So Misfits back on the initial kill. I think so far, correct me if I'm wrong, I think so far, obviously this doesn't mean much, but it just kind of has worked out this way so far. Whoever has gotten the first kill has followed through to win the round.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, the only 2 rounds that SK have gotten the opening kill, they turned it into a round.
Yeah, and Misfits got the opening kill besides that, I'm pretty sure. So they've been pretty consistent with that so far. It's just a matter of now trying to thin out the numbers for SK, as they have spread them out pretty nicely, actually.
They're going to retake mid control. That means everyone's going to get quite aggressive. This could get ugly, or it could be glorious. We'll see.
Fur sits back and waits. No sign of them checking the box just yet, but it actually seems like the Highway players kind of abandoned it, fall back a little bit more. And they decide not to go back in. That's still going to leave Fur here, however, and it seems like they didn't suspect him at all. As he walks right up, catches Fur is not ready for the push from Devo Duvac, so he's going to be able to move forward, taking him out of the fight. And as Shazam pushes up, he's got this corner train. There's a smoke blocking off the other lane here, so it's not going to be so easy for them to eliminate him, at least in an open bout. Sean does support him a little bit by taking out coldzera on top of the box, but he'll still go down to Fallen on a direct peek from the corner, so evenly traded. SK still down a man at this point. And the CT is looking to retake directly from both Highway and Truck. One's up on top right now, but Taco's going to be able to take care of that. And now we're even. Misfits only having their 2 Truck players move back into this site with Sean taking the initiative here as he moves forward, trying to abuse this little hole in the smoke. Fallen actually crosses that. It looks like they take a shot at him, but no connection on it, so he safely gets away into A-main, and it's a good setup for these Ts to try and play off of. Now they have the bomb down, and they have a pretty good idea of where both these CTs are at here, but still, Sean's going to be able to move out. He takes down Fallen, and that leaves Taco to clutch. They haven't jumped onto the bomb just yet, and Sean comes leaping in there. Almanac will do the same thing, but he gets kill. And with 10 seconds left, they should just be able to sneak off this defuse, maintaining their lead, going up to 6-2.
Wow, very, very, very careful on that retake. And just as the famous quote goes, if you come at the king, you best not miss. Fortunately for Shazam, he did. But they still were able to kill him in A-main and make up for it. The trade there. Very precarious situation. It's really tough to double peek someone who's sitting at quad, and coming around the same side doesn't necessarily guarantee you it, but splitting is almost equally as dangerous. Now, Shazam's going to be opping one more time. He's lost a couple of duels to Fallen on rounds that seemed like they were going to win. Finally, the curse was broken. SK Gaming got the opening kill, but then actually it was Misfits who got the opening kill that round, wasn't it?
Yep.
They killed Phelps at mid. So yeah, stays true that if you get the opening kill, you are destined to win the round with these 2 teams. This is a very good thing.
SK are going to try to go back to B here now, it looks like, or at least throw some aggression at the site. They've got the bomb here in Sunroom 2, so it is likely that they would execute upon it. They still have to rotate their A players over here, however, and that seems to be what they're doing. And they're probably just going to go for this on a direct hit, actually, as it does appear. Everyone is going to stack up. Maybe have one player go out late mid to try coming through vents, but besides that, these 2 players from Misfits have to hold this, at least get a few kills. The flash through the window, too, just completely destroys Sean's vision. Can't do anything to respond to that. Almanac, a nice little flick there, and he gets 2. But is it enough is the question. It's only down to a 3v3, and SK still have Taco lurking out in mid, too, so we can do additional damage on the rotate now. He's just going to hide out behind the big white box through the doors. Hope that someone ends up coming through A-main or something like that he can punish upon. Not seeing that just yet, so we might actually have to go out to mid to try and punish some of these rotates coming in. But Cold has that held pretty nicely there, in addition to the platform hold now. Taco, however, is going to lose in his attempt to hold outside here in that mid garage, so advantage back to Misfits. Heavy damage against Devo in getting that kill, but he also upgrades from an up to an AK. So a bit of a trade-off there. And now we'll get ready to move in from vents, but they're up against coldzera, who gets 1 and 2 kills, destroying that entire retake. However, Shazam is allowed to go in for free, but Cold shuts him down again through the little panel there next to the railing. And that will give SK another round here, 3-6.
It looked like the really great spray control on the site. And here's Cold, obviously getting the last 3 kills in the after plan, incredibly important. Last one, nice wall bang in the head through the board, through the dartboard, no less. Now, it was a really great spray control that actually made it seem like there was a chance for Misfits to be able to retake, but Sean getting full flashed on the site made that really difficult to have to deal with. Misfits are saving now. They have just one flash, sick half armor. Will he use it? It's actually on forklift. No stack in sight, though they are slowly going towards A.
Yeah, Misfits very much trying to stack heavily on that site too. Leaving just Sean to defend the B site currently with a deagle in hand. And he's not even really committed to the site either. Looks like he's wrapping around potentially over towards either heaven or mid, and actually all the way in mid. So they're going to leave B right open for the taking here. If SK want to try to dive on that, it's going to be easy days for them to plant and basically a free round for them. They've already taken out Sean too, so now someone else has to rotate in and take up that position. In this case, it's going to be Shazam, but he only has, well, he upgrades to the deagle now, but he has no armor or anything to support it. As he works out there, did have a free shot on Fallen. It's a miss, though. No connection on the hit. And now the rest of SK getting ready to pinch on A. A nice little swing out there from Amanek. Digs him and then finishes him off with just a body shot. It's going to hold SK back, actually, but the bomb is still on its way over here towards A main. I believe instead of shifting away from this, they're just going to go in with the full force of their execute. First nade goes out, and that'll destroy Amanek's HP, taking him out of the fight finally. More of them trying to move in for the execute. Taco first up to bat, but Devo close up will get him for quickly trades that though, and another flash comes out to assist. Let's Sick get at least one kill and dink another player, and Shazam could very easily clutch this now with an AK in hand. He doesn't have armor. He has one flashbang to try and utilize, so he's going to play ultra passive right now, hiding behind the box, letting his opponents go in and get that plant. And now he's been spotted, but he's also seen one at quad. Quickly uses the flash on the left side, but the jump shoot is going to give him away that he's still behind the red box. They won't be tricked by a push just yet. Now how's he going to play this? Ah, he missed that jump. So now they know he's up close, but it's coldzera that peeks him first, and that's a free kill. Now he'll jump up on top of the box, looking for his opponent in the smoke. Just a matter of time to see who spot two first, but Shazam's going to get it. However, switches off too soon, but thankfully recovers on the deagle and should have enough time for this now to go up 7-3.
Well played in the 1v2, and the smoke on the side of the site, as he made it seem like it was going to be tricky for Shazam, as he clearly wanted to flash right, peek that left, and that shut that play down, but he did a great job adapting, and I think he was able to bait out, I don't know if he missed this jump up on site on purpose, but cold peeking wide there maybe was in response to him thinking that somebody was going up top. Either way, Fallen tried to sit in that smoke for as long as he could, but we could see it was dissipating and had to readjust. But there's Shazam just being patient, having plenty of time to pull off that defuse. So good stuff. Misfits back on their feet. Op and 4 rifles, whereas SK have a deagle and 3.
And Shazam will get the first kill this time, now armed with the up. Be able to catch Phelps early on. Fur does look for the response, unsuccessfully though. Shazam now backs away a little bit, still keeping heavy mid presence, however. We've got Devo coming back down to white box too, although he's about to get mollied out of his spot, so this should let SK boost up here. Send the 1 or 2 players over the top if they should so choose. Fur's gonna be first out. I think he has one player with him, potentially with the bomb too. And others are gonna just move out through the mid garage, so very, very mid heavy early on here from SK. And Misfits, not even really leaving any players in the site. They're all just hanging out back by truck there, which is a little bit interesting. Oh, great flash. That's going to completely blind out Sick. And Fur is also able to line up a second one, too, and Devo tries to move in to cover him. Now they're going to move in, do a little bit of a Z pinch here, see if Fur can get an additional pickup as he swings through it. Lines up the head of Sean, but Sean's going to be able to get that kill. Shazam now being pressured, but he's got the Ovid trucking on. This is always so difficult to deal with. 1, 2, tries to go for 3, but blanked a little bit there on cold. So it'll be Sean from Highway that finishes it off and gives the round to Misfits.
Wow, after going down 3v5, huge plays from both Sean and Shazam. That flash, that was just really, I feel like really unfortunate timing for Misfits. It was interesting that they were kind of grouped up, 3 of them at truck when they did intend to go A at some point. Wasn't actually sure what it was, what their plan was before that. So I don't know what they were planning to do in the A side, if they were just going to set up on default and quad and just watch, or have that op go and hold from truck and then rotate or what have you. But SK ended up getting multi-fragged by 2 people and allowed the 3v5 to be possible.
SK will try to swing out quickly onto the A site, but Sick's ready for this. He's already got 2, so does Devo. And Devo will get the 3rd there to make it a bit of a full house kill streak for the guys on Misfits. They go up to 9, tripling the scoreline of SK. And we're getting very close to the end of the house. There's not a whole lot of time for SK to make up that ground.
Yeah, no, it was an easy shutdown, good smoke. The smoke was so well timed, it separated them easily, and then, you know, Sick went in, which is this really good M4 A4 spray. 3 rounds left in the half. Shazam is starting to light up the server with his op, which is good news for Misfits, certainly. I was watching some of his POVs on Cash earlier and seeing that, you know, he's had variable impact. It's been kind of good sometimes, rough on others. Taco, always the loner. Always in CT side on the B sites. Palace on Mirage. Squeaky all by himself.
Now he's going to have to look to find major impact here.
Shaved his head.
What?
You seen Taco's head?
No. Did he?
Yeah.
Did he
completely
really?
Shaved his head, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Nope.
I have not seen this.
I'm trolling you.
Okay.
I
figured
not trolling you.
I don't even know what to think anymore now.
He's bald.
I just have to find the most recent.
I'm kidding, dude. Of course he's not bald.
He's not, yeah. Okay.
He is bald. I'm serious.
Enough of this.
You have to take me seriously, dude.
Well, I did, but I didn't know if this was just something I missed that happened today or something like that.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
He's bald, dude.
Stop.
Like, seriously.
Stop. All right. SK do get the first kill this round, and it's against Shazam. It's not from Taco, however. Fur makes it happen in mid. And now SK, they're going to get ready to move over towards the B site for an execute. Sean, however, up at Heaven will get one. He has to remain mobile, though, and that's where he's going to die. Phelps will swing out for the trade, taking him back down. Almanac now sits as the lone player here to defend, and he's not going to peek from the looks of things, just sitting back and essentially waiting for SK to swing over by head position to try and find him. He gets flashed by his own team, though, and now he's stuck, has to try and hold out. Taco, Phelps both getting kills, and Coldzera finishes it off. We only see one additional trade from Sick. Everything from Misfits, unfortunately, falls apart. It doesn't help that Almanac gets flashed by his teammate.
Wonder if Sick in the corner of his eyes just checked his time at the very last moments there. I'm not even sure they would have been able to recover it. I think the bomb depends on when he died, but I'm not sure they would have been able to pick up the bomb, put it back down in time. But they'll, either way, SK will be happy to have that round. Surprised to see Misfits taking such a strong lead early on. Really curious about what the second half is going to look like for both Misfits T side and SK's CT side. So should be really, really cool to see the adjustments both team makes. And we've got a very standard setup, 2-2-1. Sick can be left alone at A, as we mentioned. They can spend so much. They can use most of their players fortifying both mid and B. Worry about holding these positions as opposed to retaking them. Mid, once it's taken, you can retake it. They do poke at it again sometimes, but you don't have to, obviously, because you can't plant the bomb at mid.
Almanac's actually going to end up getting forced out here. That smoke rolls in. Not sure who ended up tossing out that smoke, but they will throw in another one here right at Team A to try and give them a little bit more room to try and maneuver over towards Checkers. They move in at perfect timing, too. You can see the trail from that flash that moves out. The CTs have one of their own to try and blind these guys outside of Team A, but there's no one pushing it, so very hollow attempt at trying to get the trade there. And now SK sit ready at A main, primed to execute. Misfits really don't know what to think at this point, so they just split their players evenly, 2-2 across the map. Keeping Sick and Devo here to defend it. And SK, as they do get ready to explode out, well, Fallen will get that kill. It's not going to pull anyone off the A site, though, and Sean moves in. He does kill Fallen, but he needs to quickly get over to the A site, as this is where the real action is going to begin now. SK pushing in with basically no time. Devo realized that they're coming out of upper, but is still not able to get the kill. He goes down immediately. Sick trades onto one, but that is it. And for Sean, to attempt to move in on a 1v3 with only 22 HP, it's really not going to look so great for him, and now they've spotted him. So they'll attempt to peek and find him. Sean's actually still hanging around here a little bit. I would have thought he'd back up to save by now, but looking for at least 1 or 2 kills if he can get them, and ultimately will miss that chance. So it's looking like SK will be able to go up 5-9 now, heading into the last round of the half.
The comeback is happening. That was a solid A take. They ended up stationing up at A, not walking with the bomb, and then smoking that quad to into that pop flash explode. And it's really difficult as when the guy is at quad is playing a guessing game. Are they going to try to flash through the smoke? Do I need to dodge? Are they going to run out the side? Which side are they going to run out? Are they going to jump up? And it seems like a lot, but honestly, you have the advantage because honestly, they have to run through a smoke. So at the very least, if you keep your eyes peeled, there's probably a chance that you see the first guy first, but they're more reliant on trading than anything else, and that's what they were doing with the man advantage in that situation. The jump up can also be quite lethal, but anybody who jumps up is running a huge risk of exposing themselves to both truck and a highway, which are, incredibly difficult angles to have to fight when you're focused on somewhere in the site as well, making that a huge turn. For running out mid, off the smoke, he's been able to sneak out here a couple times. They use that mole pretty much to target him. And we'll see if that damage pays off later in the round, but for now, It might slow down his aggression at least a little bit. Tame the beast.
Now we'll see from Sick if he's able to do anything from this forward position at A main. He gets himself up there, but will back away. The smoke does potentially actually kill Sick's chances of maybe being able to peek out there, taking him down, but the safety of having A main secure is going to be worth its weight in gold for right now on Misfits. Considering just how often we've been seeing these direct A executes, and not having to worry about that is certainly going to help out Misfits' morale a little bit here, trying to maybe secure a 10th round, even though they are working with this suboptimal buy.
Interesting to see that even with A main control, they've decided to stay 3 here. Shazam is actually using a scout, dies to Taka. Or no, it's actually Phelps. Oh, on Highway, wow.
And now the B executes moving in, so you only have pistols to defend that. That's not going to look too great. Devo, worst part about him, he gets flashed, tries a timing shot, but not even going to be close. So they'll take him out. Sick did get 1 kill there by A main, so he managed to eliminate Taco, but that's a very hollow gesture at this point, as now it's a 2v4. They do have a smoke for the retake, but still, the odds very much stacked against them here. And as we know, B is going to prove very hard to retake from, regardless of the circumstances. So it looks like they're going to route over towards Vents and see if they can find an option there in order to get back into the site with both Sean and Sick working their way into it. They won't split. Cold's already spotted one of them. And they have that aggressive push out in B halls too, so they would know if they try to work the other way. Sick will go 1 for 1, but you know, he's down at 14 HP now. Oh, he does swing it quickly to get Phelps, but you'll remember he was low already. Fallen down below Heaven though, does finally manage to catch them back, so indeed SK do round the comeback, bringing it up to 6 rounds, making our scoreline 9-6 at the end of the half. Do stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be coming right back to you with the second half.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And we're back again, folks. What started off as Misfits domination here, SK quickly turned it back around and managed to actually make this a relatively even half. 9-6 at the end of it. Misfits still hold the lead, but that could change with 1 pistol round victory.
Yeah, a lot can change when you're facing SK, no matter what the scoreline is. We saw a pretty good half from Misfits overall. A lot of great things to say about the 9 rounds that they earned for themselves. And SK on the back foot after going down like 5-1 made a good job of coming back, and also themselves having cool adjustments on T side. So I think couple of the notable things that allowed for the comeback to happen, Fallen winning those 2 duels in a row with Shazam to make it a 5v4, and then them following up to meet him halfway and close out the round. And then after that, it was a true battle of 2 teams who understood what the others were doing, and it basically came down to the first kill almost every single time. Misfits were doing their best to gamble stack sites. Misfit and SK were doing a great job pressing the man advantage over and over again. Now, round 16, we have the pistol round. Boost up, or 2 going boost, a flash for the 2 teammates to go highway. I think there's, oh, Almanac. Where's Almanac at? He is in Squeaky, okay. So, I was going to say, we saw an SK, oh, Taco's in A main, interesting.
So that is going to drive a wedge here now if they attempt to just go for a straightforward execute, because normally you see players just going retake on this site. So that's going to definitely make it interesting. Will almost for certain be unexpected. However, Misfits might bypass A main in its entirety here. When you look at their current split of players, it looks like they've got a few trying to go out garage potentially into mid, and then 3 at Squeaky. Now, that doesn't mean that Taco's not going to be able to do any damage here, but yeah, it does look like they actually split over here towards A main. So Taco still becomes the focal point on this hit, as the other players are hiding back by truck. They'll move in. They check this position, however, and yeah, he won't be able to get anything, which now should ignite the rotate from the CTs over from the B site. They threw out their own flash. Regardless, Misfits are going to push forward. They quickly go for the plant. Fallen does get one, I believe, over by Forklift there, but after that, Sick will trade out Fur. Now Fallen sits as the only one here. Currently, the others have arrived, but they're giving them a lot of time to set up in post-plant. I actually do like them sitting back and waiting to see if they do that boost up, though, on top of Quad. As it seemed even like for a second Misfits were going to do that. They decide against it, though, and Devo gets the first close-up volley of there, taking down Fallen. They look for a trade, but almost perfect. Oh, timing. Shazam peeks out. Cold, though, hitting 2 headshots back-to-back. Taking out Devo and Shazam. Still has a 1v2 to deal with. He does not have a kit. There may be one on the ground somewhere, but this Molly is probably going to kill it. It'll actually be Sick that kills him and gives the round to the Misfits. So they're good to hold on to their lead, assuming, of course, they don't get anti-eco'd here. Or eco'd, excuse me.
A couple of beautiful shots from Cole to make it look competitive. It was a nice flick right there. This one's even better, I think, honestly. The guy in front of it, yeah, bang. That's cool. But I think, unfortunately for SK, a lot of it came down to Taco in A main. He had a really favorable spot. I think Sean kind of walked into his angle. And I want to just say he was unlucky. It seemed like his crosshair placement was pretty good and everything. I mean, I thought Sean, if he crouched into that angle, then he would have definitely got the drop on him. But, you know, played his game exactly how he wanted to, and he still didn't come out the victor. So that's tough. You get the 5v4, you lose A main control. You're hoping that Taco gets that first kill, or you can call for a rotate in. And I think that was a hole in their strategy, is what Taco exploited. So a lot of it culminated into that one frag.
And so now Misfits will open it up with a very slow start again, just playing into that usual cash T-side default. Sean and the others will move in A main. They're very well aware of the fact there could be someone aggressively pushed in, so you can see them kind of holding at the entryway for a second there. And even slower as they creep up towards lockers due to the presence from Taco in the last round there. The most forward person they would have to deal with, though, is going to be Fur in this situation, who hides out behind Fork. The others wait mainly at Truck and Highway. No one else has dove into the site to actually play like Quad or somewhere like that, as they know these positions are probably going to get overwhelmed relatively quickly. Actually, don't check for Fur, but Sick's still going to take him down with almost no damage responded to, at least until Taco comes into the fray there. He's going to be able to take down Sick. Still an uneven advantage in the favor of Misfits, and obviously they have the gun advantage here too. We can see Taco just trying to spam into Sean, and he almost gets the kill. However, he survives it with 4 HP remaining.
A site always friendly to the anti-ecos, as we see time and time again. Phelps and Truck with the CZ. Can he get any last hits in? A couple of these kills are actually quite important. AK's on deck, Sean very low. Will the overextend happen? Seems very, very set in his way, sitting at Truck on this passive angle. And everyone will be exiting the same way as any good team should. Whatever the choke point may be, just do it together. Bomb goes off. Money bonus for Misfits. A strong lead to kick things off, and another round that's going to be even easier to build economy from. Everyone really sharing the workload here on Misfits. Having a lot of impact overall on the SK side of things. Sometimes on the T side it comes down to who goes first, but on T side it is a little bit more of a free-for-all. It just, you know, if you decide to adjust and go B or adjust and go A, it's like whoever's most ready to hit that entry will just be called upon to do that. Whoa, whoa. Was that 100 damage made?
I think it was, yeah. There wasn't a second one, so there you go. Cast Fallen just gets wrecked, you know?
Oh my god.
Sucks to suck sometimes.
Sucks to suck.
So he's going to push in, and he'll end up just getting destroyed by that. Nothing he can do about it, really. Just unfortunate timing. Great timing by the Misfits, as now they're going to take it extra slow in this round. Just making sure no one from SK tries anything crazy here before they eventually route through and more than likely end up going A again, but obviously the options there for B2. SK have pretty much just fully stacked A, assuming that this is going to happen, and they're probably right to do that, but we'll wait and see what Misfits do. It actually does appear that they might go in for some mid-control first.
Smoke to Z. Mid-control gets taken. One of the safer mids to take of any map on anti-ecos. Mollies are very friendly to flushing out all of the very annoying spots that pistols can be in, including sandbags, highway, and so forth. They're actually not using one there, though. That's kind of a risk, I feel like, considering how many they have left. Molly goes on to A site, misses, however, so now they've got hard clear with their rifles.
They move in. They did wreck Taco's HP, however, he's down to 10 now. With Phelps, he can do most of the damage right now, as he hasn't been revealed yet. Unfortunately, falters, gets nothing done. And Cold might actually just save this ump. It's obviously not a rifle, but he can still try and utilize it to a certain degree in the gun round and try to save some money. So as the plant goes down, he'll end up out in mid. We'll see how far he decides to move forward here. He will get challenged. And now he'll take down Devo, actually. So a little bit of a start for him to work off of. The problem is now if he does want to save that UMP for the next gun round, then he needs to get the heck out of here. And that's exactly what he'll do. Diving into the B site, he'll have to look for a new safe spot, as hiding behind white box is no longer an option. They will check for that.
Do you think he gets a go? Oh, no, not going to be a chance. Blasted by the Galil with Amanek.
So they get the perfect start here, 12-6. They've doubled the scoreline of SK. SK obviously in a pretty tough position here now, but if they can win this first gun round and get them still started off quickly on the CT side, that lead can diminish very, very fast, especially considering that Misfits have not established a super strong economy precedent just yet.
First rifle round, or sorry, I would say second rifle round of the first half, if that's not, is that true?
What's up?
Second rifle round of the first half?
It's the second half.
Of the second half?
It's the first round, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's round 4.
On round 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm losing my mind.
It's okay.
Is it late or is it early? I can't even tell anymore.
That depends.
Depends, yeah. But yes. Couldn't recall in my mind any other T strategies to pull from to compare to this, so that makes a lot of sense. Molly's into B main. coldzera left out in the open. Out in the cold, I guess you could say. In the middle of 2 flames, and the smoke comes in late. He unfortunately couldn't call for it because they just, you know, carpeted the whole area around him, and there was no way that someone could pull out a smoke, toss it in response, and know exactly what to smoke all to beat it so that he could run away. Just had to get out of there.
Yeah.
Tried his best.
So now we do see Misfits getting ready to barrel forward here. Just going to go back to their forte, which is going to be this A execute. And the only one really there to defend it's Fallen, but we saw how good Fallen was on this map yesterday with that op, and he starts it off with an aggressive A main pick again. He had no support for that either, so if he got wrecked by someone entering, there would have been no fallback there, no room for a trade. So it's a good thing he does hit that first kill. So that opens up much better possibilities. There's the second for Fallen. Forward as well. Fork is going to be able to get one for himself. Devo finally trades onto it, but Fallen is still alive right now, and as he moves in, there's another pickup for him. Looks like he's right back into action after yesterday's games. He's got 3. Can we see the 4K again? He's looking for Amanek right now. Obviously, the smoke's making it a little bit difficult. Amanek just trying to stay alive and clutch this 1v2, but he does not have a lot of time. Just 10 seconds remaining, and there's a player back at truck. Yeah, I think he's out of ammo now, too, so he's over to the Glock. Yeah, 3 seconds left. He might want to die, actually, because they're going to run out of timing in a second. Now they're really going to push him. I just want to hide in the corner now. I think he's safe, actually, so he should be good. But, yeah, round does end via the timer.
Was he completely out of bullets? Like 0?
No, I think he had some. He just didn't want to go for the reload considering Fallen was that close to him.
Just no time to do it. So
yeah.
Here's Fallen doing what Fallen does and getting kills from a variety of positions in a single round, which is exactly how you should play this game as an opper, and being really annoying and crafty about it. Looking for all his fights in different directions. Wow, that was very close to actually picking him out of the sky. I don't know who that was, but that guy doesn't know how lucky he was either.
I think Phelps. I guess. I suppose so. The observers nodded. I'm going to assume. What? We're back. What? You just drew a circle on the map.
On Taco, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Come on, observers. Talk about it.
They do have the chat. Yeah, that's right. They do have another form of communication. Remember that sometimes. But let's see here. Misfits probably going to get ready to deploy in a second. There's a lot of resistance there from SK. You've got Phelps hiding out and players that can swing down over towards white box relatively quickly too. But oh, they're going to molly out Firebox actually, so that's going to put him right into action. He's ready to take that fight, but unfortunately in the open, he's just forced to take a fight. coldzera trying to play to that position again. We saw him using that yesterday too. This time though, it's not as much of a success. Amanek will take him down. That leaves Misfits with a man advantage to play off. But if they don't move soon here, SK are going to form, try to counter them out. We can already see Fur pushing up towards A main. They've got players watching out for that, though, so Fur's going to want to be a little bit cautious as they peek in. He does dink Shazam down to 4 HP, but no actual kill. Shazam responds quickly enough to take him out. And now the last two sit in mid. And oh, the timing on this is perfect, too. Almanek's going to spot that. Should have called it out to teammates if there's one at top highway. Yep, he'll get flanked out by Almanek. And now the last one, they've spotted him, too. They know where Fallen's at. He does have the op, although I think this might be asking a little bit too much from him. We'll wait and see, though, as he gets the first kill. But he knows he can't clutch the 1v3, so he's going to back away to save.
Yeah, you definitely really only see players like this go into these 1v3s if they're kind of stuck. There's no last round of the half, last round of the game, if they need to win to fend off a double save, if they're in the mix of things already, like it's a site that the bomb gets planted that they're already at. But if it's a situation like this where they just, need to gear up for it and really have to call out spots, not have that much information, they'll most likely just fall back and look to take their weapon to the next round where it's more valuable. Nice reaction on that op. Fallen so incredibly consistent in that situation.
Second kill, too, so he does end up bringing it down to just one for Misfits at the end of the day. That's not going to be great. Like I said, their economy's not in an amazing spot right now, so this is actually going to force almost all of the money out of a majority of those players. Next left over with 2K, but the other 3 that it's a rebuy should be pretty much out of cash, 500 or less after the buy.
Yeah, two things. They wanted to kill Fallen, but they did want to do it for free, just as you're saying, because this being costly means that they can't guarantee that they'll be able to buy if SK do pull something crazy off this round. But because they didn't have that much money themselves, won't be able to buy fully behind this. Instead, will put together whatever they can. Are really relying on this op. It's up to Misfits in this situation to try to neutralize the op if possible. I don't know if they'll be able to find him, but that's the prerogative.
Great flash inside, and now Coldzera comes in swinging out into the open for a second. Great movement coming out from Coldzera there after his flashbang. Shazam will trade this kill and actually does great damage to Phelps, too. He's going to be pincered here. Not a lot of opportunities for him to trade that damage back, so he does go down to Almanek with 0 damage done. 3v3, however, remains the name of the game, and Shazam with a missed shot's going to let Taco move in and instantly deagles the head off of Shazam. He'll move back just because he's a little bit worried of there being a player in mid trying to hunt him down. And the T's, with the loss of their teammate now being an issue they have to deal with, will smoke out Tree Room here. Now, obviously, 2 out of 3 of the players from SK are going to be working this retake with pistols, 1 having the op. They will be able to pick up a second op in a second, though. They leap in, the bait's great, and Almanek, unfortunately, is too far into the open. Great stuff coming out from SK there. They pull off the retake. That's going to put them up to 8 as they stay alive against Misfits.
Didn't even realize that Fur had a teammate right behind him, but yeah, the joining up to jump through CT made that very difficult for Sick, and obviously, 1 clearing it really hard. Wow, they only needed to delay at least like maybe 2 or 3 more seconds to be able to prevent SK from winning that, but hero plays come in huge. Good timing on that retake. I think the only difficult part for Sick there is like you have a good angle on the players coming out of CT potentially, but we even saw 2 players from CT take advantage of him. But if someone busts out of heaven, you have to flick upward to kill him. That guy has an advantage on you. It's really difficult to get back on the site safely. If you stand up, someone from Checker can shoot you, so maybe could have had better after plant spots and probably would have been able to delay longer at least. SK really let it come down to the final few moments, but got a player up on Shroud and the other one peeking into A main. Curious what Fur does with this information. Mid smokes as Misfits have no money.
And there's Fallen again. He's even going to be watching out for additional presence coming over boost there as he just watches out from lower, just in the event that anyone snuck past him. Hasn't happened, but if he keeps his eyes on vents, he may get another treat in a second here. Devo has snuck through via the use of these smokes and is now in the open, but maybe a little bit too in the open. Fallen did see him there. He knows he's hiding behind the shed. So it's just a matter of waiting for the peek. They're going to use this as a distraction, but little did they know they had a second player out too. They tried to do the bait and switch as well with Sick going out first and then Devo trying to re-peek for the refrag there. Doesn't happen though. Both of them just outright get eliminated. And now for Sean and Almanek, they'll make a last-ditch attempt to push it to B. Cold. Oh, actually, didn't hit that shot.
The hell?
I guess they jumped too soon or something. It's always the weird trying to figure out why their shots miss. But anyway, he corrects it on the second draw. Takes out Sean. And now Almanek stands against a 1v5. Doesn't even have the bomb either. That went down in the middle of the hallway somehow. And yeah, Fallen will take him out. That's SK going up to 9.
That little exchange there in mid was kind of cool. That was just a lot of trust involved in that. As Fallen knew that he saw the shoulder of a player under the vent, decided to hang on to it as teammate Fur comes out the white box and make sure to lock down a kill for him as he holds onto this angle. And because he holds on to this, is completely rewarded with a peek, as it was Almanac to believe, like, oh, okay, this guy, that's that white box, he's probably preoccupied. He's like, nope, I trust my teammate, I'm going to be holding on to you. So that's a solid round, and with minimal deaths as well. Is anyone going to jump out A main? He is very close to that smoke for kind of a spammable spot. It's almost just a deny rush spot after this. It's going to look for something a little bit more safe.
Yeah, so he backs up to quad. Gets away from that. Those two-man stacks at white box have been used quite a bit in this map alone. We saw, obviously, SK using it in that last round there, but Misfits did it a couple of times too, and it seemed to catch SK off guard when they did it. So both of these teams trying to employ that, and with relative success as well, as you're normally, at least in the current meta, only gonna expect to find one there. But if we see more teams picking that up, that could become more of a common thing, and I imagine Tees would adjust to that pretty quickly.
Look how good that smoke is, just poofing in on the inside so that, you know, if a CT walks in, they can jump up on the boxes over it, but it's not coming out at all, so no Tees can sneak out to Toxic or Forklift without getting spotted. Very important that, especially on this map, that smoke is really tight.
Well, Smoke is in a Z here, so that's going to deny vision for Fallen for the time being. No one else is going to wrap down in the mid, so they kind of do let them take it here, but that's going to be sounding a very obvious signal, especially after now we do see the Execute moving back out for already taking down 2 here. Taco with a 3rd. The hit, for the most part, is a failure here as they try to draw focus to mid and draw almost none of it. In fact, there was no one in mid after that smoke was tossed out. Taco will be able to trade out after we do see 1 kill finally going against Fur, but it leaves Shazam alone with that Mish flick. It's going to be Taco closing out, putting SK in the double digits, just 3 rounds behind the Misfits' own scoreline.
That feel when you have 1 molly and you have to decide between fence and quad, and you choose quad when it's fence, that one time, you know, it really can make the difference. If Fur has to strafe out wide through a fire, and, you know, he'll probably just lose a straight up initial duel, push into his teammates so they don't even have any kind of crossfire at all, and make it a lot easier for Misfits to get on the site. Comes down to like almost a single piece of utility, but because he picked the right spot, and for whatever reason got Misfits to smoke quad, if he had any influence on that, can take a lot of credit for winning that round. And it looks like we've got a real comeback on our hands. SK are start to get their feet on the ground, pulling a lot of saves out of Misfits, even though Misfits have pulled out both pistols. Yeah.
And Misfits, unfortunately, just haven't been able to keep things together once the gun rounds have happened. The rounds have been too spotty in between here, especially on the T side so far. They're making things work at the beginning, but not so much now that SK got guns into their own hands, especially with this double opposite up now coming up too. It's going to be very difficult on rounds like this for Misfits to find any impact whatsoever unless someone decides to just go off with a deagle. Almanac already down on the ground here. Fur able to actually get 1 here, but Taco gets a 3rd, so they're still even. They're still keeping up with the kills. And although we had that Sick trade, that's pretty much it, as it's now Sick left alone again. 1v4, and this becomes all too common of a scenario for at least one of the members of the Misfits. We've already seen this happen 2 or 3 times on both gun rounds and eco rounds so far in this half. There's not a whole lot that he can do. He doesn't even have the bomb either. It's not like he look for a creative way to plant. We have to go all the way to the other side of the site, pick it up, and then try to route back. But it's going to be pushed. He holds on there at least, gets himself a gun. 30 seconds remaining to try and plant, but stay out there for a little bit too long, so Fallen will pick him off from the bottom of Highway. He
actually just wants to get that flash so he could get out of there and maybe throw a flash off of the wall so that he could peek potentially the other side, or just go for a safer re-peek. Either way. We're doing okay. SK, yeah. Where is Phelps right now on the map? He's hanging out.
He's playing B right now.
No. Okay.
There hasn't been a lot of B hits, granted, so. But
yeah,
obviously, like there should still be some more kills from the T half.
Ooh,
I like this boost, and it works perfectly too. It's cold on top though, so no kills for Phelps just yet.
That boost gets wrecked when they decide to run through, when they decide to do like a pop flash rush or something like that. That Misfits do, but since it's not an eco, Misfits just wanted to set up for a full-on B hit. Are gonna now just do a complete adjustment. You can see that they obviously wanted to commit to that. That bomb being spotted, though, is big information for SK.
Oh, and now Fallen's even pushing out through squeaky halls too.
Yeah, like he knows that he could push something.
No one's watching it. Spots 2 more players out here. He might actually die, and indeed he does. But again, just more great intel, so it's worth it for the trade. And Fur can just push right back in.
Yes.
So that, with Fur pushing in though, that does actually leave the A site kind of vulnerable, but it sets up an obvious retake angle very early on. Sick though, we'll find a kill in mid. Taco and him are actually sitting right next to each other for the longest time. Fur's gonna waltz right in, get at least one more kill. Now it's an even 2v2. I'm actually surprised SK keep giving up these trades here now. Maybe a little bit too many of them going out the other way. Sick gonna look to line up actually both of these players here, and he just clutches it out on his own there, and the 1v2 gets the lineup. And that will be Misfits finally putting together another round, 14-11.
That was I want to say, careless from SK. They actually like had great information, got that opening kill because they had a cool setup on that frag from coldzera, and then after that, Fallen goes for the second kill. Thing is, Fallen had that second kill in the bag. He missed like such an easy shot, so tactically it's hard to say, okay, made the wrong play there. But Fur from Squeaky saw the second person, but didn't have like a clear shot on him. Decided to peek out when he had the 3v2. Could have maintained Squeaky control on an A hit, and then waited for his teammates to rotate in, but got way too aggressive. So I definitely think that he, of anyone, made the biggest mistake. Sean so close to actually finishing him off, but I think they know now that he's most likely boosted somebody to Shroud. And let's see if that's a problem for Taco. Oh, he actually falls. Wow.
Taco is going to end up being forced back into quad now, and again, very light presence on the actual site. This has been a common theme for SK here, really keeping one or two people on it. That's why Misfits have been able to, at the very least, get to the site so many times here today. But, as you can very well see, they've pretty much left B open with the exception of coldzera holding deep checkers control there to try and check those halls. And everyone else just kind of hangs out in mid, ready to rotate wherever the hit will come from. And once again for the Misfits, it's going to be an A play. Moving in, they've already done damage to Fur too, so they've got a slight advantage moving into here. On the take though, now Taco has moved forward a little bit. He's playing up by Forklift. This has been actually a little bit more uncommon. SK players have not necessarily been camping out at Forklift every single round, so it's not something they may expect. Molly, along with the smoke combo, is going to make it a little bit difficult, but he just goes in and clothesline Sean for quickly dipping back out. Only lost a third of the HP to the Molotov, too, so he's still in fighting shape here. So now he backs up just behind the quad boxes, waiting for his teammates to assist a little bit here. He doesn't even necessarily have to peek. He goes in, catches Sick, just destroys him midair. Shazam will trade for one kill, and oh, on top there, just barely gets another one, too. This Molly's great as well, as it does force Taco into the open. He gets a messy spray. Amanek will take him down. The time is low. They need to plant this soon, so Shazam's up front, ready to fight. Amanek, though, knows he doesn't have time for this, and with only 4 HP, he backs away. coldzera plays the smart, does not peek it, and wins it for SK on the timer.
Man, what even happened? I want to know what Shazam's idea there was. The late Molly was really cool at quad. That actually pushed them out, but after Shazam has an angle on highway, why does he try to jump to the right side? Doesn't know that the other player is Z, but maybe thinks he's truck. But if he thinks he's truck, I guess was going to just hold on to truck and then know that the highway guy wouldn't be able to come around, like push up and turn left. So try to do something a little crazy, but his teammate on the site had no ability to plant. And yeah, that round was a bit mad. It was tough to say exactly where it all fell apart. But Taco did a great job staying alive. You want to say overstaying his welcome in the Molotov, but then making a kill for it, and then going to quad, and then continuing to delay for as long as he possibly could.
Yeah, so now Misfits are going to have to play a little bit quicker here since they are in an eco again. 4 Eagles and an op on Shazam. So they'll go for fast mid control. SK not really putting a whole lot of players here to defend it, just the 1 and Z. And Fallen obviously to be a little bit careful since these are Deagles. Can't necessarily wide swing out against it. So he will just go for this short little pixel peek on the right side. So it's, at the moment, actually, all just creeping up to white box here. So they're going to go unnoticed. Sick.
Shazam, he's going to hear the scope. Oh, there's a kill, too.
Yeah. Lines that up. Shazam actually does get the kill against Fur, however, so evenly traded down to a 4v4, and now they're going to bust up highway, trying to get into the site. Taco's ready for this, though. Drops down, and oh, Amanek quickly takes him down with his own headshot there in the Deagle. Fallen pressured a little bit, and he misses that shot, so he goes back. That's going to leave it open for Misfits to move in and get the plant down, and SK still forming up for their retake.
Yeah, pretty solid round for Misfits in their after plant. Shazam continuing to have impact. Second kill in the round, 2v3 retake. Phelps moving into Forklift.
Phelps can crush it here, but spots Amanek. The Molly just held him out a little bit there, takes him down, evens the fight for the 3rd time so far in this round. Now the last two just sit on the site trying to hold. Devo spamming him with the Deagle there. Does get about half HP, but he needs to win it as now his teammate's alone and back, and he's going to be pressured from close up. The op won't necessarily work here. He scopes in at the wrong time too. Now gets Stink down to 63 HP. They'll push him against him. He gets that close shot.
Oh,
but
no
they
time.
peek him at the same time. He needs to run over, get this kit, and jump back onto it. Did he get it in time?
I don't think so. Does he? No,
No, he runs away, so Misfits just barely win it. Shazam holds for long enough.
Damn.
And that's going to put them up on map point.
Damn, Shazam getting the 3 kills, delaying super long a quad. If he had peeked any more to the left, Phelps was holding for that to just make sure. And if he overextended, he might have just got opt. So just play that game perfectly. And yeah, it was obviously delaying for just as much time as they needed to pull off the match point on an eco round and completely shunt SK's money. They have nothing left over to be able to bring this back and try to get to OT at the very least. So. Misfits, will they be able to 16-12? This would be a big win for them on the standings.
Especially trying to achieve that top 6 spot here too. It's very competitive this season. It's very open too. Especially with other teams like CLG and whatnot kind of struggling in the mid-season here. So on this round now, Misfits go back to the slow style of play. This has actually really not worked out too well for them on the T side. But you'll note, more importantly here, is the bye that SK now have after that loss there on basically what was just a deagle buy up round and the one op that seemed to find most of the impact there. Shazam kind of saving the day with it. Delays for long enough at quad and gives them the round just because they can't defuse. So SK have to now try and win with a very similar buy, except they won't have the op, they'll only have an ump. Along with 2 CZs and slightly more utility than Misfits had in that last round here.
What was that boost for?
I don't know. So Misfits are just going to go in and get mid-control. Taco, though, he's allowed to go out all the way through A main.
Well, I guess where Taco's standing now, some people hold from. So maybe the boost is so that he get closer without being spotted from that spot. Oh, oh, whoa.
Oh, he's a ninja. Oh, and he gets the 2 headshots. Looks for number 3. But Almanek does trade him out. That's still good damage, though, as now they're going to panic a little bit going into this site. Devo gets flashed. They don't push him in time. 6 saves the day. Bottom of highway there. They're going to take him out. Yeah, Ferg gets caught reloading. Phelps goes down, too. So it was a good setup by Taco. Just unfortunately, no one else able to follow it through very well. Cold walking out in the mid, though, does get sick for free. He's going to find an AK, too. And he's got head armor, so let's see. This is Cold, after all, so we might not be done just yet. Sure, that's an upper player that might catch him off guard, if anything. No, actually, it's the truck player that gets him. He doesn't check that at all. A little bit surprising, but that will close it out, ladies and gentlemen, as Misfits taking over SK here on Cash. We saw them holding their ground, SK that is, against Energy yesterday, but today they falter to Sean Garris, Frenchies, and the rest of his crew, of course.
Yes, Sean and friends going huge. Shazam in that last round to be able to bring it to match point was, I think, critical. Who knows what would happen if it went to another rifle, and sometimes they probably feel like teams feel like they could win those rifle rounds easier than some of those anti-ecos just because of how crazy teams will get.
All right, well, we have the analyst desk standing by. Let's send it over to them to break down this close map.
Yes, we're here holding our intellect in our hands, as you can see. Nonetheless, guys, a great showing here by Misfits. Where do we even start?
We start from Misfits having kind of a better CT side than one might think. They also won both pistols. That should be noted. That'll definitely help you win a BO1. And it was pretty close, but I have to say that the theme of the match was that Misfits had a better CT side than I would have thought ahead of time.
Yeah, it's really hard in Cash to have a really good CT side, especially in the higher levels where you have to really hit a lot of your op shots, just be in the right spot at the right time, and it's harder on a map like Cash when it could be a puggy.
You have to make plays. Cash is like that map where you have to make, you have to notice that split-second window and you have to make a play, right? Like almost every single round. It's not like a formulaic type round like you see on other maps.
Very reactionary, so to say. Which, given the right opportunity, you can jump through some of those windows. We're going to jump into round 4, though. Looking like kind of a hard anti of Sick, maybe? Is that accurate to say?
It could be, right? We don't know what the motivation was, but it definitely works, right? So what Fallen does right here is he smokes Z, just saw it plume right there at 139. And then they just walk out A main. Luckily for Sick, he jump spots them from quad, which, is why he's dumping his nades right here. And he gets actually a pretty sick shot on Fur there, I believe. Right? Yeah, no, it was Phelps. That's not an easy shot towards Forklift, also with the FAMAS. But I think this approach right here just shows that SK will do things that are seemingly disadvantageous if they think they have an edge, right? So number 1, it could have been an anti, and then number 2, right? So they're coming off the smoke, right? It's a really cool angle to see them just committing to this push. But I think secondly, that was also might not be an anti because they threw something mid to pull the highway guys. One thing I also noticed throughout the course of the first half of Misfits on CT side is they seem to be playing very flowy dynamic on that highway. Like whenever there was one highway, it seemed like there was 2. Right, so there was never a single guy highway.
Well, SK are able to, we talk about a reactionary sort of style approach on this map. Ultimately, SK were able to keep Misfits guessing over on their T side. But looking forward into it, it's kind of hard to get something going there when you have Shazam coming online, just like we were talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, he had that sick 1v2 late in the second half, right? I think that round right there was absolutely necessary for them to A, avoid overtime, and B, secure the win. I think if he doesn't win that 1v2, I think this goes a whole different way.
Well, Eric, we did pick out round 13, I believe it is. We're going to take a look at that just real quick. It looks like a sort of a do or die time for SK.
So you look at the mini map right here. You know, SK being down so many rounds. What is the go-to strat to do to win a round? As you see, Fur was in the middle. As you said, James was, you know, he went back and forth towards the middle. In this round, they decided to have 2 towards A, and SK saw this. So SK boosted Fur. You know, he got the kill, and now they slow it down. The rounds kind of slow, and they're going to hit a bomb site. So Misfits were playing it safe, 2 in A, 2 in B, but this kind of it kind of hurts you a little bit if all the T's hit the one site that, you know, there's only 2 people. So at this point, it's a numbers game. You see right here, Amnek just pretty much gets overran, and they just easily take the bomb site with only 5 seconds left in the map. So what that tells you is they had the first kill. They slowed it down, bait any utility, because, you know, teams will toss smokes if nothing's happening maybe, or toss a flash, trying to make some room, find some information. And SK kind of played around that. They just walked towards B, and Taco was over in A, just making a whole bunch of noise, open door, shooting around, hopping around, trying to keep 2 people in A. And it just worked out really well with the timing.
Well, a 9-6 CT half here from the Misfits. And ultimately, is this something where we can say, yes, the Misfits are looking good, or is SK not quite on the highest of horses they've been? Where does the CT half fall here for Misfits?
I think they played pretty well, but, you know, we kind of joked around in the past about a theory of SK kind of sandbags cash a little bit if they don't have to win, because, you know, you look at these tournaments, the last match, the championship matches are always on cash, and you're just like, if it's their worst map, why are they always playing cash? And I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a ploy.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it is a good CT half, right? You see teams like NIP losing, you know, 13-2 on their CT half versus the likes of Vega Squadron, right? I know that's like an idiosyncratic result, and it's one result, but it just goes to show you that if the T's know how to play their side, they can really build some huge halves off you. So if you're going to keep a team like SK to 6 rounds, I think you're doing something well.
Looking at SK on their CT side, they were able to get in there and get really aggressive, really maneuvering with their AWPs, which we're going to load up this replay and kind of highlight that real quick.
Yeah, so this is the first like actual gun round of the second half, and this is something I don't see very often, is Coldzera playing not in concert with Phelps over at B. So that's a little worrying for me to see in terms of, like, you know, getting a barometer of how their team's feeling together. And then Fallen's going to equal it up, right? So he plays forklift with the op. I think one of us was actually making fun of somebody playing forklift with the op yesterday. But if you're Fallen, you take these combat angles. I know we're going to keep harping on that word. What we mean by combat angles with the op is that it's a closer angle than probably a noob would select, right?
Well, he's like a noob shotgun at that point.
Yeah, like a newbie would probably not be attempting these things, right? But when you're Fallen, you know that you can make it work. So basically, because he has the ability to do these things, he basically allows the op to be more effective in different parts of the map so he can make plays.
Well, we've seen Fallen do things with the op time and time again. And even yesterday, we saw him in the same bomb site, the same sort of setting, just getting double kills, lining up shots, hitting shots. And we also see, I believe, Eric, you picked out a replay highlighting some smart play here by Fallen as he pushes door.
So I think there's going to be like a bait tactic here by Fallen. A lot of times we see him take a shot, say over here, and he falls back a lot of times, changes up his spot, but he actually had a kill, and then he pushes. So it's kind of uncharacteristic of him to do that. And I'm thinking because of Fur. As you see right here, because he died, they don't check that actually door, and they put Fur in a really awesome spot to easily get a kill at the forklift and possibly almost at quad and almost winning the round, but sick. Yeah, I mean, he actually pulled it out with 2 huge kills at the end. But
yeah, so the fact that Fur only got 1 from there, even though it was, you know, arguably a designed play for him to, it like puts him in a CT lurk, right? It's like that unlikely scenario where the T's think that they have all their bases covered and then you just happen to be there and it surprises everybody. It's too bad he didn't get 2 right there.
Yeah.
Well, SK do drop their first map here in these 2 best of 1s, but we're going to be going to Mirage next. And before we do that, is there a clear favorite?
I mean, I think we see this pattern of when SK drops a map in one of these BO2s, then they're probably going to beat you on the second map. Yeah. So even if I wasn't looking at, you know, the fact that they are a top 3 team in the world, I think that pattern alone and then both of them together mean, you know, I have to pick SK here.
Yeah,
well,
me too.
Yep. Well, we're going to come back to that in just a second. But before we do, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going into Mirage. So be here with us or else.